Yeah.
All right, we're back. We have Bishop Dickerson in studio right now.
Thank you
Welcome
for having
back.
me.
Welcome
Yes,
back.
thank you.
I don't know. Have you met Gavin before? Is this your first meeting?
That's our first meeting, yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So how's everything at the Christian shelter right now?
It's going good. Everything is going good. We're slowly but surely getting some family rooms online. We upgraded our men's dorm. Men's dorm looked fabulous. We painted the men's dorm. We put a new floor. We repaired some issues that was going on with the bathroom. So it looks amazing. So we should be ready to put the men's dorm and a couple of family units probably in September.
Amazing. And I remember the last time you were actually in studio, you were talking, you now have a burden for the young folk. And
Yes.
how's that project going on?
We're still praying about it. We want to see what
Absolutely.
direction to go in if we want to tackle a youth shelter. So
Okay.
we're just really seeking the Lord about which direction to go in that aspect. Yep.
Okay. What's the biggest reason why a homeless person or family would decide to go to the Christian shelter?
Well, they wouldn't, or they would.
Why they would choose the Christian shelter?
Okay, I think some of it they love the structure, and some family want to be structured, and so we help with that area. And some individuals and some families want to be held accountable, and we do a good job holding our guests accountable. So it's important that we hold them accountable, and some of them they really want a relationship with God, and also they want a relationship with themselves. So.
Nice. So, what are some of the reasons why they don't want to come to the Christian shelter?
The opposite.
The
That's
opposite
what
of
I
that.
said. And some people they don't want to be held accountable. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want to be structured. They don't. Here's the favorite one. They don't want to follow rules. But realistically, every household have rules.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't come to your house and do what I can't come to your house and just go in your refrigerator. It doesn't matter about my position. It doesn't matter who I am, but it does matter. But I've invaded your space, and I cannot invade your space. And so that's so important. So, when you come to the Christian shelter, you got to abide by our rules.
Absolutely.
Or we have to, what I always say, we have to release you into your destiny.
And sometimes that destiny, sends them
Absolutely.
over to Halo.
Absolutely.
So how is that relationship between the Christian shelter and Halo?
I think it's good because Halo usually call us and see if we have any beds available. We usually call Halo. Hey, look, this is Anthony. I have a guest whose time is getting ready to expire. Do you guys have any beds available?
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I think we do have a good working relationship.
And that's the same, I think, what could be said about Diakonia as well. So a lot of our guests that leave end up going to Diakonia as well.
Yep.
They find a way to get down there to Ocean City somehow. I don't always know how, but they make it happen, man.
April Jackson said that last time. They know how to get around.
They know how
They
to
know
get
how to get
around.
around. So
Yep.
a lot of guests come from Diakonia, and a lot of them go to Diakonia, as well as Christian Shelter. So this triangle of love, this love triangle, is it's helping out a lot of people on the Lower Eastern Shore.
Now, here's the question. Are there sometimes folders that have to kind of follow the person between the shelters? In other words, are there sometimes people who leave a shelter on bad terms? Actually, I know of a family back in the past. I actually extended tried to work with as much as possible. But are there families that actually kind of mess up and then try to go to the other shelter and it kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Yep.
And I a lot of times because we have permission through the IMS to share information, then I kind of give Halo, whoever the person that I'm talking to, heads up. I don't want them to be blindsided. So I'm very honest. I said this family was not very I don't go into detail. This family was not very successful with us. And if I feel that I kind of need to go deeper, I'll go deeper. Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the time they can read between the lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, same. So like if they leave and they're not successful for whatever reason that may be, that the worst case scenario, if there's not a line of communication in that moment for that guest, then hopefully the firewall of orientation on your end and our end will catch. Ooh, okay, this person might not be allowed if maybe they have a background. That it just depends. We work with a lot of different people. We take in most people, but at the end of the day, there's some individuals that we don't, right? So we have that firewall in place to protect our guests and our staff and our community from not letting in the wrong people at the end of the day. Right. So again, every house has its rules, like you said.
Absolutely.
And so worst case scenario, you have a person that comes over to us, we'll catch that in the bud a lot of times with whatever, and they're usually a known entity too. So.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's usually got a kind of a track record.
It's a smaller community than you think of the people.
Now we got a new intake process and an outtake process, and I'm proud about this. We have a Christian therapist. She's on fire for God. Oasis of Hope. Karen. Her name is Karen. I mean, she is awesome. And what we do when we get the call that someone wants to come in the shelter, they have to go through a mental health assessment.
That's right.
And I'll tell you why. Because everybody that comes to our shelter is not a good fit.
That's right.
Because we're moving away from emergency shelter into transitional.
There you go.
So since I have a lot of children there, I gotta keep the babies safe.
That's right.
I like that.
And so they go through a mental health assessment, and then she reports back to us, Bishop, this person is not going to be a good fit based on, and it's documented.
So if they're not a good fit, what's the next move for them?
Well, she tries to work with them and tries to find appropriate shelter. That's the awesome thing about having a therapist and working with a therapist. And then when it's their time to leave the shelter, she meets with them again and says, "Okay, what is your plan for discharge?"
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, and mental health issues is something. I mean, our last show we were talking about that, and I mean, I was talking to some people who work in the school system. In the shelters, you get a lot.
Yeah, and because she's trained to pick up on things that we can't. We're not trained. I'm only trained in the Word.
There you go.
The Holy Ghost sometimes, right?
We're not all like clinical social workers.
Yeah, right.
We're not chemical dependency counselors. Yeah. We're just people that love the Lord and want to help people. And then there's people that specialize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, our discernment and discretion.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And sometimes the world don't understand that. So
that's right.
I do want to ask, do you feed people outside of the shelter?
Actually, we do, but we don't announce it. If somebody comes and says, "Hey, look, I need a bag lunch," we go get them a bag lunch.
Okay.
But we don't.
You don't turn them down.
We don't announce it because we will have everybody. And I'm hoping I'm not going out on the limb by saying that. But we do give them a bag lunch.
Sure.
And so forth. Yeah. We don't really turn people away.
Okay. Good. Now, I do want to ask this when we're talking about mental health. Do you two feel that there is enough help in the community? I was talking to Joe Lappin, who used to work up in Cambridge at the mental health facility. There's no longer that anymore. I think it's now the Hyatt. It's kind of scary. It went from the hospital to a Hyatt. Yeah. But do you feel that we need more, or are there enough help out in the community?
I think both. I think we need more, but then in having more, I think those entities need to communicate. I think communication is the key, because a lot of times we as a community, we don't know what's out there. So I think they should communicate not only with each other, but they need to communicate their services to the community, and making sure that they get it to the right source. Yeah.
I was talking to a doctor. Actually, I can say his name, Dr. Zant, and he was letting me know that a lot of this, the homeless problem we have, it's not about being homeless; it's a mental health issue.
Right.
And I remember my wife and I were invited by Celeste over at Halo to go to I think the showing was. Americans Without Walls. I think you were there.
No address.
Right.
No address. Yes.
And it talked about the fact that nationwide there's no mental hospitals like it was when I was growing up.
That's right.
And since there is not that many of them, what has happened is the problem, and I'm saying the issue, not the person, but the issue has been taken care of by either the jail system, the school system, or homelessness.
Yeah.
Would y'all agree on that?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
See, I think, and you know, there is mental health, but then there's mental habits.
You have to elaborate a little bit on that one.
So some people have mental health issues where they require a higher level of care, whether it be medication, whether it be institutionalized, or whether it be they need therapy or so forth. That's someone that basically has mental health.
That's
But-
mental health.
Right, but mental habits is when you get into the addiction.
Yeah.
And the addiction can cause mental habits,
There you go.
such as double-mindedness. And we know what the
Wow.
Word of God says, double-mindedness is unstable in all his
All
ways.
his
And
ways.
another medical term for double-minded is bipolar.
Schizophrenic.
Absolutely. And that could
Wow.
be through drug activities. So someone may not have a mental health issue, they may have a mental habit issue.
Wow.
And that Trace, that's a complicated. I mean, it's hard to have do we have 5 more hours?
Yeah, right.
Because then you talk about people that they made a mistake when they were young. They got incarcerated. They tried to do good. They got their education inside. They changed their life for the better, but they were left with maybe some anxiety, some PTSD,
Yeah.
maybe some bad habits that they picked up while inside.
Right.
Then they get out, and they hang around the wrong people, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But man, these people, all they need is another person just
you
to
go.
walk right
Yeah.
beside along with them. Homelessness is easy to get into, hard to get
Hard
out.
to get out.
Wow.
So it's instead of trying to fix it after it happens,
Yeah.
nip it in the bud
Yeah.
before it happens is the goal, right? So with these mental health institutions and agencies and government, non-government, the best thing people could do is get it before it happens or while it's developing instead of waiting till after it happens, because then it's a lot harder to fix and deal with after the fact.
Yeah, and what I like about our therapist, she says that there are some people that have mental health issues. Yeah, they do need medicine, but some people need coping skills, how to cope with life, how to cope with rejection,
Wow.
Yeah.
how to cope with denial.
Wow.
And even how to cope. Here's the thing: how to cope with grief. Now, when we look at grief is not always a loss of someone, but loss of some things,
There you go.
such as loss of a car, loss of a house.
Yeah.
Loss
you
of a
know,
job.
Yeah,
Loss of a job.
exactly. And you still have to go through what I call the 5 stages of grief. You have to go through those.
Wow.
And then,
wow.
grief has some way of doing some weird things. You can go through all the 5 stages and then you have to go through those stages all over again. So,
I've noticed, thank you, and working with, of course, in ministry over the years, I have learned that a lot of people who have problems with heroin, they are kind of spiritual. They all talk about getting closer to God. So, I mean, how would you say that those things are connected? Like when they were out there and then they find that connection to God?
yeah. Because here's the thing, and I'm reading a book called, it's by John Bevere. It's called The All of God. Powerful book. And he and the 18th chapter of that book, he talks about a well-known evangelist that he was a powerful man of God, but he got arrested because of fraud and because of infidelity and so forth. And so he called John Bevere to the jail cell, and they hugged and embraced. And John Bevere asked him a question. He says, "When did you fall out in love with Jesus?" And he says, I didn't. And John Bevere looked at him, startled. He said, "Wait a minute. You got caught up in the fidelity and bank fraud and all that. Why?" He's thinking in his mind, why? How come you say you still love Jesus? He says, "I love Jesus, but I didn't fear God."
There you go.
There's a difference.
There you go.
There's a
And
difference.
sometimes these individuals, they say they love God, but they don't fear God. They only
Relationship.
honor him with his lips. I mean, we can talk a good game. I mean, you can tell your wife, honey, I love you, but, if you don't never show her.
And you didn't talk to her in 9 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great, I'm going to the ice cream parlor when I leave.
That's right.
Right, exactly. So it's that fear of God. Yeah, once they've had a relationship with God, but you got to take it deeper, because if you really fear God the way you should fear God, you're not going to want to do anything that'll harm your body, harm your neighbor, or even harm yourself.
Wow. So that's the importance of having a
Yeah.
Christian shelter
Yeah.
or shelters that teach the word
Yeah.
versus just having
Yeah.
a shelter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we do two things. We do things. We teach individuals. We give them strategies how to have a relationship with themselves, but also how to have a relationship with God.
Which is important.
Because once you have a relationship with yourself, and once you have a relationship with God, everything else falls in place. I
into
got
place.
scripture to back it up. It says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these other things
Will be added. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Well, we're gonna come back with our sequel here, and this is just good. Thank you. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yeah.